Hello and welcome to Conversations with Ruth. I am Ruth. I am also known as Notorious RVG. During the time I worked with ACLU, I encountered legal aid attorneys and was always impressed with their dedication and good work. I realized that I do not know much about legal aid of North Carolina. I have wondered what legal aid really is. How is legal aid able to serve all those that are eligible for its services? That legal aid not only provides services in specific areas, but to target populations, such as veterans, seniors, Native Americans, and victims of trafficking. Equally important is what are the services legal aid provides? Well, to answer those questions, I ask that you join me in a series of interviews about getting to know legal aid of North Carolina. I promise you that I and you together we will learn what legal aid is and what services it provides. Hi there. Welcome to Conversations with Ruth. I am Ruth, and you probably have heard that some call me RVG. But I really need to tell you that I prefer to be called Justice. This interview today is part of our series about getting to know legal aid. Today is going to be a little bit different. Instead of talking about the areas of practice of legal aid, we're going to concentrate on special populations such as Native Americans. We're going to talk about the members of the Eastern Band of Cherokee and the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. I have always wanted to know about what services legal aid provides to Native Americans. So to answer those questions, today we have not one, but two guests. We have Candice Hart, that is the managing attorney of the Pembroke Office of Legal Aid. And we have Jenica Hughes, who is a staff attorney in the office in Silva. I am delighted to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So let's just start with some clarification, and to make this easy for me, because I don't know too much about this. Candice, where is the Lumbee tribe actually located?
The Lumbee tribe is located in the southeastern portion of North Carolina. Our traditional area comprises Robeson, Scotland, Hoke, and Cumberland counties.
Are these the areas covered by the office where you work?
Our particular office, the Pembroke office, serves Robeson, Scotland, and Hoke counties, and the Fayetteville office serves Cumberland County.
And Jenica, how about the Cherokee tribe?
Mm-hmm. The Cherokee tribe is located in Swain and Jackson County primarily, but there's also a little bit in Haywood and some in Graham.
And this is part of the office where you work?
Yes, the Silva office covers all of those counties.
So you both are integral part of the community of Native Americans. You're perfect for this presentation today. All right, so tell me, Jenica, going back to what type of cases legal aid handles for the Cherokee?
Yeah, so legal aid handles pretty much all of the cases that we would typically do for anyone, but we also help with custody cases, and we have a contract with the Eastern Band of Cherokee to handle some estates and help them get those cases closed.
I look at some of that information and notice that there's an area called to secure cultural support for children. What is that about? What does that mean?
That's part of how we help with custody, but also we handle adoptions and for enrolled members of the Cherokee tribe.
I see. And Candice, how about in the Pembroke area? Is it similar?
It's a slightly different in that our tribal system and our tribal government is set up a little bit different than the Eastern Band of Cherokee within the Lumbee tribe. We are seeking full federal recognition, but we do receive housing and urban development funds within the Lumbee tribe. So they have subsidized housing, income-based housing programs, as well as enrollment, and we do work with tribal governance as well and community economic development. So we'll see members of the Lumbee tribe and represent them in housing issues, whether it be rental assistance, down payment assistance, home ownership issues, mortgage foreclosure issues, as well as enrollment and any other issues, veteran services as well.
So it's fair to say that the members of the tribe suffer from the same issues that the rest of the poor population of North Carolina suffers from.
Those issues and other ones that are specific to
Well,
Native populations.
You mentioned to ensure federal recognition. What does that mean?
So in the United States, in order for a tribe to be federally recognized, they can either be recognized through the Bureau of Indian Affairs Office of Federal Acknowledgement process, which involves a lengthy petition with a lot of historical and genealogical documentation, as well as the other option is through special legislative action. And so the Lumbee tribe has been federally recognized through special legislation, but that special legislation, the Lumbee Act of 1956, also concurrently terminated them as well. So they have a unique legal position, and they are currently seeking recognition through a legislative process.
And I mean that there is then some federal practice there too?
Absolutely. We do represent, we have historically represented the Lumbee tribe in their pursuit of federal recognition. We no longer do so because they have that system in-house, but we do represent the Waccamaw-Siouan tribe and the Kahari tribe of North Carolina in their pursuit of federal recognition. Currently, they're state-recognized tribes.
You both have mentioned tribal court, and that's sort of attractive to me. In fact, when I retire, wait a minute, I'm never going to retire. I want that to be clear. But when you talk about tribal court practice, let's say someone calls and they have an issue that is being handled in tribal court. What do you do? What can they expect? And let's start
first.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the Eastern Band has their own court system, I think as part of the fact that they are a federally recognized tribe. So there's a courthouse on tribal land, and they have, a clerk's office, magistrates, judges, and some justices. There's the Cherokee Supreme Court. It's relatively similar to state court, but it is a little different. Everyone in the Silva office is a licensed member of the Cherokee Bar, so we can represent them in tribal court. And it does look pretty much the same. There's no intermediate appellate level, and they don't have any distinguishing things between district court and superior court. But otherwise, it's pretty similar to state court.
So Candice, in your area is about the same too?
It's actually a little bit different because of the difference in the recognition status. So we have, the Lumbee tribe has an administrative court and a Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has jurisdiction over constitutional issues that members may face that arise and give them rights and jurisdiction under the Lumbee Tribal Constitution. Administrative court is the administrative process that tribal members go through if they have any sort of issue with receiving services, enrollment issues, and there's an administrative step prior to that. So there are directors within the Lumbee tribal government. Like, for example, we have a director of housing. And so if I have a client that is facing a housing issue, maybe an eviction, some sort of issue along those lines, we would go at the agency level, the administrative level, and have a hearing or a meeting with the administrator there. And if we did not get the result we wanted, we have appellate rights to take that to the administrative court.
So the staff in your office is prepared and able to handle cases in tribal court or in the way that you described?
Yes, Justice.
Just like Jenica said, you have to be able and admitted, you said, to the tribal court system?
Cherokee has
That's
its
quite
own bar.
interesting. And do you have any activities that involve community education? Legal Aid seems to be always interested in providing the community's education about issues. Can you tell me, Jenica, any that you know in your area?
One of the biggest ones is that the Silva office does partner with UNC's pro bono program at the law school there. And so they come out to Cherokee every winter break, and they put on what's like a wills and estates sort of clinic. So after they get trained, there's a kind of social activity at a community center on tribal land. So they get a lot of community engagement that way. And then they also, of course, put on the actual clinic where they have people come in who want to put together a will. And that's our biggest one.
And Candice, in the last few seconds we have,
Sure.
How about in Pembroke?
In Pembroke, a large part of our client population is Native American. It's over 1/3. So we do a lot of community education. Like Jenica mentioned, we work with law schools. The Native American Law Students Association at UNC Law has been a big partner with us, and they have come every spring to help us do a wills and senior clinic. And as well as we work with our tribal clients, and I've worked with the Lumbee tribe. For example, in January, I did a training with the Lumbee Tribal Council, which is a 21-member council which governs all elected officials representing all the different districts within Lumbee Tribal Territory. And I did a training with them on Robert's Rules of Order and parliamentary procedure. So we do a lot of board governance, board building, policy making, that kind of work as well with our tribal clients.
Well, and that does it for us now. Thank you so very much. I think I have a good idea of what legal aid does with these special populations. And for all of you that have joined us, I thank you too. And I invite you to attend and hear the new series and the next episodes we have about Conversations with Ruth.